Sup y'all, it's me, it's your boy Asmongold, and today I want to show you guys how to complete the Arms Warrior Challenge Artifact Appearance scenario that's available whenever the Mage Tower is active in the Broken Shore. The scenario that we're going to be looking at is Closing the Eye, which is killing Archmage Xylem, and then after that, I didn't know this until I got there, but there's a whole second phase with a Void guy, and we're going to look at everything that you need to do to complete this. Now, Arms Warriors are not the only class that goes through this scenario. I believe Frost DKs and Havoc Demon Hunters are as well, so the overarching strategy is going to be usable by all of these different classes. I really kind of hope it is, because I don't know anybody that actually mains an Arms Warrior, but the individual tactics are going to be specifically tailored towards Arms Warriors, of course. So I want to do this video in the same way that I did the other Challenge Artifact Appearance videos. I'm going to look at everything that you're taking into this fight, your spec, well, it's Arms Warrior. Your talents, your legendaries, my artifact weapon, my gear, and pretty much what I think you need to take into this fight. The overall strategy going into it, what you need to do. And then also, I'm gonna narrate myself going through it in real time, and actually, I'll show you guys my kill attempt and what I did throughout the entire fight. So for the beginning here, you want to have. What's odd about this fight is that there's two phases in the fight, and you can switch your talents and your gear in between the phases. So for the first phase, you want to make sure, I'm going to go ahead and open it up right here, as I have it here. Your talents, for the first phase with the Archmage, you want to go ahead and have Dauntless. The 30th one doesn't matter, honestly, but I just went with Shockwave because I didn't want to switch it, but you can go with Double Time as well. The third tree, you want to go with Avatar, and then Bounding Stride, Focused Rage, Deadly Calm, and Anger Management. You do want to change, however, into the second phase. You want to go from Dauntless to Sweeping Strikes because there are these 3 ads that you have to kill, and Sweeping Strikes deals with them perfectly. You also want to make sure that if you don't have Shockwave in phase 2, or in phase 1, that you do have it in phase 2. It's extremely important to have. Now, what's going to happen in this fight? Well, actually, I'm going to go over the legendaries first. I'll go over everything you need to take into it, like I said. The legendaries that you want to have, optimally, you want to have the Mana Rot's Bloodletting Manacles. Those are the healing bracers in phase 1. And also, you want to have just whatever DPS legendary you can have. And ironically, another really good legendary for this fight is having Timeless Stratagem. So I hope you don't have it, but if you do, you can go ahead and use it for this fight because it does increase your mobility, and it does provide a lot of unique mobility, and obviously it increases your uptime on the boss because you do need to plan out your heroic leaps in a very specific fashion. So if you don't have Timeless Stratagem, it really doesn't fucking matter. You probably just want to have the bracers. Now for the second phase, you want to take off the bracers. You won't need the healing, and I did this with I think 39 artifact traits, so I didn't have the gold trait for Arms Warriors, and I also didn't even have the healing trait before the gold trait for Arms Warriors. So I was really kind of at a bad position in terms of that, but of course my gear was like item level like 912 or something like that. So the gear did make up for a little bit. You do not need the extra healing from the bracers in phase 2. So you want to go with your 2 strongest DPS legendaries, and if you have it, I would recommend using Ayla's Stoneheart and maybe kill Jaden's Burning Wish for sure. And if you have it, maybe Ayla's Stoneheart. Those would be the 2 that I would use if I could use any of them. Now, all that being said, the way that the fight pretty much works is there's going to be 2 phases, as I said before. You're going to fight Archmage Xylem, and then he's going to do a 10% transition, and then you're going to fight a Void Lord. Now, Archmage Xylem casts his abilities in a very, very specific way. You're going to engage him, and there's going to be 2 phases. There's the Frost phase and the Arcane phase. The Frost phase is going to be handled like this. You start the fight, he's going to cast an ability that stuns you and puts you in a circle of these Razor Ice things. Now, you can kill the Razor Ice things and walk out of them, or you can heroic leap over them. Now, if you've tried this before and you've died, that's because you didn't jump. What you need to do in order to actually successfully heroic leap over the Razor Ice is you need to jump and then heroic leap. If you just heroic leap over to Archmage Xylem, it will kill you, because if you walk through the Razor Ice, it's an instant death. So make sure that if you do have heroic leap up, you jump and then heroic leap over to Archmage Xylem, and you're going to be able to easily get over to him because also you have Bounding Stride. So as soon as that happens, you can also kill these Razor Ice things. They have very, very minimal health, and they also give you victory rushes whenever they die. So you can use those to kind of stabilize your health or recover if you took an attack from Shadow Barrage or any sort of other damage if you're behind. You can use the Razor Ice things to basically recover your health, but the more time you do that, the more time that you're not damaging the boss. But there is no real, as far as I know, Enrage timer on the first phase. So he's going to cast Razor Ice 3 times. So the first time you heroic leap over it. The second time you heroic leap over it. The third time you don't heroic leap over it. The reason for that is because you want to save heroic leap for the transition phase. So whenever he casts the third set of Razor Eyes, you want to just kill them, walk through them, and go over to the back over to Archmage. As soon as you get to the Archmage, I want you to interrupt the Archmage and then bring him closer to the middle of the Eye of Eternity. The reason for that is because whenever the transition occurs, we're going to completely fucking cheese this thing. I'm not going to even explain how the transition works. What you need to know is as soon as Archmage teleports away, as soon as he casts Arcane Barrage, he'll cast it for a second, then he'll teleport away. You will see where he teleports. As soon as you see where he teleports, you hop your bitch ass over there and you stand on top of him and you end the entire transition just that fast. Now, there's also going to be little sparklies where he is, so it's easy to see. And you're not going to have to deal with the darkness. You're not going to have to deal with killing the ads. You're not going to have to deal with the ads knockbacks. You're not going to have to deal with shit. You just jump right over to him in the transition, and it's no problem. And Bounding Stride is going to help you get there, even if you don't quite heroic leap over to him at the beginning. And that's also why you want to make sure that you interrupt him towards the middle, and that's going to be easier for you to leap directly over to him without having to take any ticks of darkness. If you're alive at all during the transition and you're running over to him, make sure that you're jumping because darkness also slows you and it does 1 million damage per second. So you want to make sure that you spend as little time as possible. And if you're slowed inside of a jump, it will not actually slow you. The slow will not actually apply until you hit the ground. So it's very important that you guys know that. And basically, as soon as he does the transition, face your camera away so you're looking at the entire the entire circle of the Eye of Eternity. As soon as he teleports away, jump to exactly where he teleports. It ends the transition immediately. Now, as soon as the first transition's ended, he's going to cast an ability called Shadow Barrage. That's where he summons these balls. The balls are going to be moving at a random location. That's really the only RNG in the fight, is the balls are going to move in a random direction. You want to move away from the balls until you actually see which direction they're going so they don't catch you off guard. Now, that's really all it is to that. If you get hit by one of the balls, it's not the end of the world. It will take you to probably about 20% health, and you can recover from it, but it's a stupid thing to have happen, and there's no reason for it to happen. All of that being said, as soon as he finishes that, he's going to cast Arcane Barrage, then he's going to cast another ability called Draw Power. Interrupt Draw Power. If you don't, he does more damage. After he casts Draw Power, he's going to teleport away. You don't want a Heroic Leap here. The reason for that is because if you Heroic Leap right there, you're not going to have your Heroic Leap available for the second transition that's going to happen in just a little bit. So just walk over to him. I think he casts another Shadow Barrage or something. And then as soon as you get there, he's going to cast a second Draw Power. After he casts a second Draw Power, if you do have a stun available, you can use the stun to stop the Draw Power. And then you can use an interrupt to interrupt the Arcane Barrage. So you can move him closer to the middle. And that way you can end the second transition as quickly as you ended the first one. So after he does the second Draw Power, he'll cast a few more Arcane Barrages. And then he's going to teleport away. And so you just rinse and repeat the same thing you did with the first transition. You just jump on top of them, and that ends the phase. Then it's a rinse and repeat from Frost phase again. The only difference is that now he's going to be casting Shadow Barrage intermittently between casting the Razor Ice abilities. That's not really a big deal. You don't need to worry about this. There's nothing really to know about it. It's just make sure that you avoid Shadow Barrage as well. And again, you want to Heroic Leap and jump as you're Heroic Leaping out of the first two Razor Ices, and then you want to walk out of the third one while killing them, because you can't walk through the Razor Ices, and then you rinse and repeat. Now, the most important thing here is making sure that you have all of your cooldowns up for whenever Phase 2 begins. So you want to be planning for having everything available whenever the Archmage hits 10%. Whenever the Archmage hits 10%, there's a quick intermission where you're able to change your gear and also change your legendaries. That's where you take off the bracers, put on the trinket or the ring. You want to go full damage here. Absolutely 100% full damage. It's very important. And then you also switch from Dauntless to Sweeping Strikes, and you also make sure you have Shockwave. Everything else stays the same. Then you're going to be fighting the Void Lord. The Void Lord does two separate abilities. The first ability that he does is he casts a Void Zone that basically gets bigger and bigger and bigger in size. So the Void Zones never go away, and they're effectively a softened rage for the fight, because after he does the third set of the ads that he's going to spawn, I'll talk about in a minute, you're going to be completely out of room, and you have to kill him at a certain time, or you're just going to run out of room and it's going to kill you, because the Void Zones do like 1 million damage a second or something. So basically what you want to do is as soon as the second phase begins, you switch up all your talents and everything, so make sure that you bring a Tome of the Clear Mind, or whatever it's called, use your heroism, your drums of whatever, and then pull the Void guy over to the edge of the room. Now, if you don't do that, the void circle that he spawns is going to expand, and there is a maximum size for the void circle, so it's not like it's just going to continuously get bigger. It just wastes more space, and you don't want to waste any space. And as you're moving the void guy around the room, you want to be on the very, very edge of that void circle that's expanding. The reason for that is so you can maximize the amount of space that you have, and even players that are under 900 item level have been able to do this. So the more space that you save, the easier this fight is, and it's already pretty easy to do. I really wouldn't worry about it too much overall, but saving space is very important. So I do want to emphasize that it's not the end of the world if you have a bad placement, but it definitely doesn't make it any easier. Now, all of that being said, a few seconds, or actually about like 30 seconds or so, 20 or 30, after you engage the void guy, he's going to cast an ability called Seeds of, what's it called again? Let me go ahead and click on it here. Sorry, Seed of Darkness. Don't interrupt this ability. You do not interrupt this ability. Take Pummel off your fucking bar. What you want to do is, as soon as he casts this, you want to heroic leap over to the other side of the room, away from him. He's going to summon 3 ads. It's convenient, though, that Shockwave, has a reduced cooldown on 3 ads, and then also Sweeping Strikes hits 3 ads. That's why you have those talents. So you want to pull those on the other side of the room, and as soon as the cast ends, he's going to summon those 3 ads on top of you. Immediately move out, make sure you Shockwave all 3 of them, then cast Battlecry, cast Warbreaker, save Warbreaker for this situation, you need to do that. Use Kil'Jaeden's Burning Wish, use Bladestorm, use whatever you have, and you also do want to kind of ration these things out. So if you do have Kil'Jaeden's Burning Wish, I would recommend doing a rotation similar to this, where you only use Kil'Jaeden's Burning Wish at the second set of ads, because Bladestorm will not be up for every single set of ads. Then you just Battlecry, Mortal Strike, execute them down, execute off of the lowest one, and it will cleave onto the other higher ones, so you can execute those as well. The ads are very, very easy to kill if you have the right talents and you have all of your cooldowns ready to kill them. You want to make sure that you have at least Battlecry up, and you also want to make sure that you at least have Warbreaker up to deal with these ads. You don't need Avatar to deal with them. If you do, you're probably not going to kill the fights. You're going to have to deal with 3 sets of these 3 ads. If the ads actually get to the boss, because they're going to run to them as soon as they spawn, the ads will heal the boss to a point to where it's just going to be unrecoverable. So after you kill the ads, you go back over to the boss, and you make sure you position him on the side, you rotate him around the room, and you do that 3 times, and then you kill the boss. Hopefully. So that's the strategy. Let's go ahead and look at the actual fight, and I'm going to go through and show you guys everything that I do, and I'm going to narrate through it exactly what you guys need to know. Okay, so the fight begins, and this guy's talking about how fucking fabulous he is. Obviously, that's why whenever he disappears, he's got sparkles everywhere. And here, make sure that you have like your food buff, your flask, all of that stuff. You don't really have time to switch your get your food buff in between phase 1 and phase 2. And honestly, it's just really annoying having to go through his first phases over and over. So just get through it as fast as possible. I charge into Archmage, I pop all of my cooldowns, draft the souls, and then I'm damaging him down as much as possible. And I do apologize, there's going to be a little bit of lag here. And then he's going to cast a few frost bolts, and now he's going to stun me and teleport away with Razor Ice. I'm going to jump and then heroic leap over to him. I do apologize that was a little bit sketchy there. You guys will see very clearly the other ones, and it will be not confusing at all. I don't know why I had to pull this from my stream, and the video was a little bit messed up. That's the only point where it's going to happen, though. That being said, again, just jump over to him and damage him down a little bit more. I could cast Battlecry again here, but I didn't because he was going to cast another Razor Ice. Here I'm just going to be waiting around, sitting here waiting for the heroic leaps to come back up, using killing some Razor Ice, stabling myself at 100%, and then also as soon as heroic leap is up, I jump and then heroic leap over to him and continue the damage. Now at this point, and you guys can see I'm not really the greatest arms warrior, okay? I hate arms warriors. I don't have the right, I don't even have my artifact traits ready. I don't even play the spec hardly. So if you guys can see this video being done, like me as an arms warrior doing this in 7.2, this is proof that it's not that hard. So whenever the third ice things come out, I'm going to go ahead and whirlwind them down, cleave them down, make sure I have a victory rush, and I'm able to stabilize myself with victory rush. I'm going to be positioning myself facing away in the other direction, so I'm looking at the entire Eye of Eternity, because now he's about to do a transition. He's going to cast it, I think, right after this Frostbolt, or after, there it is, right there, and so you guys saw him teleport right there. I heroic leaped over immediately. What transition? What? This is no big deal. So immediately after that, he's going to cast Shadow Barrage. I used Draft of Souls. I had to disable Draft of Souls or cancel it early because the Shadow Barrage would have hit me and I didn't want to take any damage from it. And then he's casting the Arcane Barrage. He cast Draw Power. I interrupted immediately. He got no stacks, and now he's about to teleport. Whenever he starts moving just for a second, you know he's going to teleport. So then he's going to walk over there, or teleport over there, and I'm going to walk over to him. Again, the reason I'm walking over to him at this point is because if I jump over to him, I'm not going to have it for the second transition. I'm also not using my my pommel here because I needed to save it for that second draw power, and at this phase I'm going to be facing away, and I'm going to be getting ready to jump over to him again. Now, I can actually even move over here a little bit more if I wanted to, and I immediately saw him move all the way over to the other side of the map. I jumped over there, and then I also used Leap to charge to one of the ads to get me there faster. The faster you get to the Archmage, the better, and you want to do it as soon as possible. I had one time where I jumped on top of him, and he didn't actually come out of stealth. Run away from him, and then run back in very quickly, and that will make that not happen. So Razor Ice spawned again. Since I don't have Heroic Leap up, or it's not really quite up, I'm just going to go ahead and kill Razor Ice, and again stabilizing myself with Victory Rushes as I'm doing that. And then I just Heroic Leaped up as fast as I could. Then I went back over to him, and I just attacked him with pretty much all my damage. You want to use your cooldowns. You're basically going to have time to use Battlecry and Avatar 2 times in the first phase. Once at the beginning of the fight, and then once, obviously, halfway through it. So I was casting Razor Ice again, and since I didn't really Heroic Leap out that quickly, I'm going to have to pretty much just kill these and do nothing, just walk over to him. It's not really a big deal, and he's casting Shadow Barrage, so you want to make sure that as you're walking over to him that you don't get hit by that. That was really, really close, so you got to be very careful about that. And then, again, this is going to be the third set of the Razor Ice. It's about to happen here in the Frost phase, so this means I do not Heroic Leap out of this. The reason for that, again, is so I can have Heroic Leap up. Oh, jeez. How do I have audio there? Just completely distracted me. So you can have Heroic Leap up for the next transition. So at this point, he's about to transition here. I know he's about to, so I'm not even going to run over to him. I'm just going to wait. And as you can see there, if I had, I would have been not even close to being able to be over to him. And I jumped over to him. Again, what transition? And he's very, very close to transitioning here. I'm not going to be using any of my cooldowns, so they're all available going into Phase 2. And again, the Archmage begins Phase 2 whenever he hits 10%. So here, I'm just going to be basically damaging him down. I got him to 10%, and here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and use one of my tomes of the Tranquil Mind, not the Clear Mind, and that's going to allow me to use Sweeping Strikes, and I already had Shockwave, so I can deal with the ads more properly. So at this point also I'm going to be changing my legendaries, so I'm not using the bracers, and instead I'm going to be using Kil'Jaeden's Burning Wish. So final stage begins. There's the ad, the Corrupting Shadows, and I'm going to pull that to the very edge of the room, and as soon as I can, I'm going to use Potion of Prolonged Power, which is the potion that you should be using, because not only will that be up for a long time, but also it will give you time to deal damage to the ads as well. And so also using the Drums of Fury, dealing as much damage to them as possible. Somebody donated and called one of my mods fat. And at this point, I'm going to be just rotating him around the room, waiting for the first set of ads. First set of ads is cast on me. I move away, as far away as possible. And as soon as the ads are spawned, I go ahead and I stun them. I cast Warbreaker. I cast Battlecry. I should have done it in the opposite order. And then I Blade Storm them down. So as you can see, the ads really are not that hard to kill, especially whenever you have Sweeping Strikes. And at this point, I want to reposition the Corrupting Shadows as close to the edge as possible again, and then also make sure that I'm on the edge of the Void Zones. I could have done that transition much better, and this is honestly a very good example of anybody can do this one. I made tons of mistakes, and I still got it done. But as you guys will see at the end, it was pretty close. So anyway, after that, I'm going to go ahead and use Draft of Souls with Avatar. I didn't use with Avatar, with Battlecry again. And then I'm going to be on the Corrupting Shadows. I'm probably not going to use Battlecry another time. I'm going to be saving that for the ads. And as you're walking over to the ads, if Battlecry isn't quite up and you still have Rage, spam Focus Rage, because that's going to make Battlecry come up faster. And, I mean, obviously, right? But I just wanted to mention that just in case people hadn't thought of that. So at this point, I'm going to be jumping over. He casts the second Seed of Darkness. I tried to get an extra hit on him, but that didn't really work. And moving all the way over to the other side of the room, because I'm not going to try and, like, put hamstring on them or anything like that. You just damage them down. I used Kil'Jaeden's Burning Wish on them, and that did a lot of damage. If you have that trinket, it makes it way easier. I got to the lowest one, so I could cleave Executes onto the other two. Obviously, that makes the other two within Execute range, and then I get back onto the boss. Now, at this point, you're going to have to deal with one more set of ads, and as you guys saw also, the Bladestorm was not up at that point, so you can't rely on having Bladestorm to just AoE down the ads every single time. If you don't have it, and you also don't have Kil'Jaeden's Burning Wish, just do the same thing that you normally would, just kill one with Battlecry, and then probably the other two will be in execute range after that, and just kill them. It really shouldn't be too hard to do. Now, at this point, I'm kind of, I thought that it was kind of over. I didn't really expect that I'd be able to do it. And so I'm trying to save as much space as possible, and you do want to have him on like kind of that ridge between like the gray area and the blue area inside the Eye of Eternity, if that's possible, okay? And also on the very edge of the room, backpedaling almost away from the green, from the purple stuff. So here I have very, very limited space, so I have to kill these ads extremely quickly. I didn't heroic leap because I was panicking. So there, I stunned them immediately. I did a Colossus Warbreaker on all of them, Battlecry, Bladestorming them all down. And as you can see, they got kind of close to the boss, but with having Battlecry and also Sweeping Strikes, they didn't even stand a chance. So here, he's got a lot of health. I really didn't think I'd make it, and this is the clutch point, right? I mean, you either kill him or you don't. You're obviously not going to have time for a fourth set of ads because the shadow stuff is just going to cover the entire room. And as you can see here, I'm going to take some damage from it. Not a good time. So again, basically at this point, you want to save all your cooldowns for the last phase, or the last 20% phase, and do everything you can. Burn them down. Use everything. If you haven't used your potion, use it now. Use Draft of Souls now. I don't really know why I'm not using it right now. I have no idea why. But as you can see, I was very, very, very close to actually dying. But I did not, and that's how it's done. So this fight is very formulaic. Almost no RNG involved. So if you know the pattern, you're going to get this fight down no problem if you have the right gear. Anyway, guys, I hope this helped you. This is, as I said, probably the easiest of the three, but it is pretty annoying. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you guys have any other tips that you can contribute, please make sure to contribute them down below. And that's pretty much all I've got. Thanks for watching, and like, comment, and subscribe.